Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folare. Russia invades Ukraine. It's the news all over the world. And, there are those who are saying that Russia has indeed started World War III. Well, maybe that will be something of an overspeak. We don't know. But what concerns us here is that we have nationals in Ukraine and surrounding areas. We'll also be speaking with Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, Chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. But before then, let's just show you this background report that we aired yesterday on our major news bulletin.
Western allies, including the United States and the United Kingdom, are now imposing tough sanctions on Russia. President Joe Biden is insisting that the U.S. forces will not be engaged in the conflict, but it will defend every inch of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. President Biden believes Russian military began a brutal assault on Ukraine without provocation, and the attack has been planned for months. The U.S. president announced sanctions against Russia to include stopping Russia's ability to finance and grow its military in the U.S. President Biden also stated that he has agreed with the G7 leaders from the world's largest economies to collectively limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen.
This is a premeditated attack. Vladimir Putin has been planning this for months, as we've been saying all along. He moved more than 175,000 troops, military equipment, and positions along the Ukrainian border. He moved blood supplies into position and built a field hospital, which tells you all you need to know about his intentions all along. He rejected every good faith effort the United States and our allies and partners made to address our mutual security concerns through dialogue to avoid needless conflict and avert human suffering.
Top on the list of the new sanctions from the United Kingdom are that all major Russian banks will have their assets frozen and will be excluded from the UK financial system. There will also be a limit on deposit Russians can make to the UK bank accounts.
For this, Putin will stand condemned in the eyes of the world and of history. He will never be able to cleanse the blood of Ukraine from his hands. And although the UK and our allies tried every avenue for diplomacy until the final hour, I'm driven to conclude that Putin was always determined to attack his neighbor, no matter what we did. Now we see him for what he is, a blood-stained aggressor who believes in imperial conquest.
The Ukrainian military claims to have shot at least 6 Russian aircraft and says it has lost at least 40 of its troops, and there are reports of civilian casualties too. There has been fierce fighting around the site of the former nuclear power plants in Chernobyl, with Russian forces capturing 8.
Okay, as I said, we have Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa with us on the phone line. Good morning to you, Madam Chair.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Of course, Nigerians are going to be concerned. We are concerned what about our people in Ukraine and the surrounding environs. Could you give us a clearer picture, please, as to how many of our nationals are involved in this particular operation?
Well, of course, we are concerned. The federal government is concerned. Everybody is concerned, and that is why the Minister of Foreign Affairs, as you must have heard yesterday, is making arrangements for the evacuation of Nigerian nationals in Ukraine. Now, more than half of them, well over 70%, are actually students, and we're looking at a figure of around 7,000 to 8,000. Now, on January 26th, the Nigerian mission in Ukraine actually put out a statement asking Nigerians in Ukraine to register with the mission. They put phone numbers, they put mail so that they could register, so that you could know how many really want to come back home. And I really do hope that a lot of them are registered with the mission. So as we speak now, arrangements are being made. The airspace is closed. And I have to stress that no country has evacuated from Ukraine.
Yet, okay.
And no country has. So plans are being made by several countries for evacuation. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs will give further details on that, but the plans are ongoing. And as I speak with you, some of our students have been able to move to places like Poland, Moldova, and what you're telling them is actually what your surroundings. And that was a statement of the mission about taking care of your private security, looking around you, ensuring you stay safe. Don't keep walking around unnecessarily in a war situation. So we're communicating with some of them. Parents are also talking to us. There's anxiety, but the key word will still be just remain calm. I know it's traumatic, it's emotional. You don't know when you're running out of water or food or electricity. But so far, we keep at it. So definitely the federal government of Nigeria is working on evacuating Nigerian nationals who want to return, but are stuck in the state.
Indeed, who want to return. Because I was also listening to the minister on television yesterday, and he was saying that initial sort of surveys were indicating that many Nigerians contacted were saying that, look, beyond the news, it's only when they put on their televisions that they see that all of this activity is going on. But I imagine this is a thing that you're going to be watching from hour to hour. You're going to be paying particular attention because it seems that it could escalate and nobody knows how bad it could get, because Russia does seem to be inflexible in whatever its objective is at the moment.
Yes, well, we will have to rely on our mission in Ukraine. They are there. And like the minister said, indeed, it was like you hear, when you put on TV, particularly the Western media, CNN and co, you hear things, but down there is a different kettle of fish. So we have to rely on what the mission says. So, yeah, I like and that's what the minister also told you. So, yes, we have to monitor the situation and take the necessary steps. But like I said, everything is being done. Plans are ongoing. So once the airspace is open, most countries will begin evacuation if need be. And, of course, a lot of students are saying, get us out of here and all that. Mm-hmm. But some have taken the steps and been able to move quickly to some places outside Ukraine.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to be satisfied with that for the moment. Thank you very much, Honorable Abike Dabire Erewa. We know that all hands are on deck, and as soon as possible, the needful will be done. Most importantly, to keep our nationals safe. Thank you very much for joining us.
And I also want to appeal to our nationals, please, if you haven't registered, go register with the mission. The details are online. It's also our own website, so that when the time comes, you won't say, oh, we didn't know, or we're not there, or we didn't know what to do. So please go register with them so that when the time comes, you will be on board that page if you want to be.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right then. So, Abike Dabire there. Okay, to also introduce Mr. Ademola Adegoke, communications consultant and a keen observer, of the polity and in this case diplomacy, because our nationals are involved here. Interesting that we were to hear from the Foreign Affairs Minister that our nationals over there, to them, apart from the news, international news, I mean, looking out of their window, looking on the streets, but things have since changed, haven't they? Because there's been an escalation, and I think there's no doubt whatsoever. The way they're even commenting on this in the West is that Putin has begun an escalation, an invasion, the likes of which the world hasn't seen since World War II.
It has. As far as maybe it concerns us, maybe we start from the angle that concerns us, and that is the angle of our nationals that are there. And just like Mrs. Abike Dabire Erewa just said, we have about 8,000 nationals there, 70% of them students. And there is a way you feel, even where if there is a report, if there are reports of crisis and it hasn't gotten to your doorstep, there is a way you feel that can it be real?
Yeah.
And I think that is the situation over there with our nationals before now. Because even now, maybe what nations usually do in situations like this is to first announce to their nationals that please leave you know. And I know that a number of countries announced to their nationals that please leave, you know, before the escalation of the crisis.
So the minister explained that too. He explained there was it was an excruciating dilemma as to what to do. Who do you believe? You know, as far as the Russian president is saying that we're not invading.
We are not in, and so and you know, so and that's another angle to it. You know, even when the U.S. was already saying that Russia was making arrangements to invade Ukraine, Russia was denying, Putin was denying that we are not invading.
And from that denial, now he's saying that everybody should just stay out of it. Stay out of it.
Stay out of it. Or if you cross our way, you know, whatever you get, you take. That is the message. He
said they will get the experience they will have. They would not have had that kind of experience before in their history.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's making people ask, what exactly does Putin want? But that's an entirely different question.
Maybe we come to that. But as it affects, you know, our nationals there, I think the best that can be done now is to be in touch, in constant engagement with our nationals, like Mrs. Erewa had said, so that, you know, those of them that will have registered with our foreign mission in Ukraine, when the situation, when it is possible to start evacuating, because like now, all the airspace is closed. But
it was a very important thing that Abike Dabiri-Erewa said there, that appealing to nationals in over there, please go and register. You know, our people, we have our way of doing our things. We do things when we like it or when we feel like it. It's like, that was an appeal. Say, look, please, Nigerians out there, don't be doing this one based on when you feel like it. Follow the convention.
That's another thing. That's another thing. Someone was telling me, I didn't hear it myself, but someone was telling me that a Nigerian was saying it openly that he would rather die in Ukraine than want to come back. And so when you have that kind of mindset, you know, there is no appeal that you want to listen to. So we can only appeal to our nationals that are there, that whatever effort that our government is, that the home government is making to evacuate our nationals, you know, that those efforts, we need the cooperation of the people down there. So
we were also hearing from when the minister spoke on television yesterday that even as we were speaking, there were Nigerians that were making tracks out of Ukraine into neighboring
Poland especially. Yes, Poland especially. Poland especially. I know that it's not even some Ukrainians too who want to even some Ukrainians who want to escape from the crisis zones, from war zones. They are, you know, they are escaping into Poland.
Indeed. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
We can say good morning, really.
No, indeed. I get you. I get you.
Uncle Yori, I like what Mrs. Abike Dabiri said about the way they are, taking care of Nigerians over there. But the aspect I want to address is Nigeria as a country must take a position on this matter. Let's not pretend what is coming is not small, Uncle Yori. Let's not pretend that it does not concern us. Nigeria is the biggest country in Africa, and if a democratic country is being invaded by another powerful country, we must say something and take a stand. Oil is now $100 plus, and we are an OPEC country. The world should hear from us what Nigeria stands for in these critical times. That's what I want to tell the government. Let's not pretend. It's going to spill. What is happening is not small.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you very much for calling in. Interesting point there. What's your take on Mr. George's take that Nigeria needs to have a position on this?
Yes, we need to have a position. I watched on this very channel the attempt to interview the foreign affairs minister, and he just dismissed it with a wave of the hand. That like, I'm not ready to say anything. I would have expected a situation that the foreign affairs minister will have said, well, we are still studying the situation. Don't forget that, even though that association is moribund, I will call it moribund, Nigeria is a member of non-aligned movement. Even at the peak of the Cold War, we neither aligned with the West or the Russian bloc. So, but I would have expected that our foreign affairs minister will have said, we are studying the situation, and when we get all the background information that we need to get about this crisis, we make our views known. Okay. You cannot keep quiet, on a global affair of this magnitude.
We can't. But at the same time, it's about diplomacy. I think the minister was making the point. The foreign minister was making the point that, look, we have good relations with Ukraine. We have good relations with Russia. We have good relations with the US. We have good relations with the UK. So is he caught in the middle?
You need to say something.
Okay.
You need to say something.
Let me, sorry, somebody is calling in from Irewalide. Hello, good morning, Mr. Joshua.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Happy weekend to you, sir.
Indeed.
My take is this. I think at this point, it is sad that we are still talking about wars across the world. I will bring the lesson back home to us Nigerians. Recently we have been drumming war, and all that. But no matter how much we fight wars, we've seen that we always come back to the table to negotiate.
Of course.
I think we have deviated from talking about the oneness of our humanity to focusing too much on money, power, superiority, and all that. I have more weapons than you and all that. And we are missing the point in the world at the moment. I thought that we are actually being civilized. So this is calling us back to the question of discussing about our humanity everywhere. Whether we are Nigerians, these are countries we are looking up to. Look at them now. Simple differences they cannot resolve. It is now deploying weapons and I am a big guy. Putin, anybody who is fighting war now should be ashamed of themselves. That's the truth. I think we should focus on promoting humanity more than anything else. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
For always discussing the right issues.
Thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate you too.
That's a very good perspective to reach all. But you see, when he was talking, the quote by Jim Hendricks just came to mind that, until the power of love overcomes the love of power, our world will not know peace. So what we are seeing here is that, the love of power, seems to be overshadowing the power of love. Because and that will take us to
from Putin's simplistic explanation, if one can even call it that for now, is saying that it's about we will defend ourselves. He's seeing it.
You see, let's do some background analysis of the whole crisis. You see, since the Russian Republic, since the collapse of the the Soviet Republic, Soviet Union, and some member states of the Soviet Union opted for independence. Russia, has never been comfortable, especially with a country like Ukraine, which is the second largest in Europe in terms of landmass, after Russia itself. So Russia has never been so comfortable. So, and the influence of the West, especially through NATO, you understand the expansion, the eastward expansion that NATO is making with countries like Bulgaria, like Romania, like Czech Republic, like Slovakia, all becoming members of NATO. Russia Russia has not been comfortable.
Indeed. Let me bring in Akin in Magodo. Good morning, Akin in Magodo.
Good morning, Uncle Young, and good morning to Mr. Adegoke.
Yes, good morning.
Let me just chip in my opinion on the Nigerian factor when it comes to the Russian invasion.
Okay.
Nigeria needs to strategically stand up, not because of any other thing, but because at the back door of Nigeria, we now have a Russian deployment in Mali that is trying to fight insurgency on behalf of Mali and have sacked the French. Now we also remember what the French did was when it came to the Bakassi debacle. We cannot afford to allow this to happen in our backyard, because obviously, if we are not careful, there's going to be also an invasion within sovereign territories in West African countries. And this is where Nigeria needs to stand up as a giant that it is. It has to impede every area of Russian invasion within the West African context. Thank you very much.
Okay, again, it is what it is, but I don't know how prepared the world is for war, because people are accusing Putin of actually starting war, starting the Third World War. But it's like we can't give up on diplomacy.
Yes,
because this is going to have to be
you had said that the world is not prepared for war, but the popular maxim is that if you want peace, you prepare for war. You understand? Because
it is said that it is in peacetime that you prepare for war.
Because at one time or the other, you will always have one maverick, one iconoclastic figure that does not want to go, the way of normalcy. He wants to deviate. So, and you will always have a Putin, you understand, at one point or the other. And he also has his allies. Already, Iran has, given tacit support to his action. And I expect that North Korea will also do the same. You understand? So you always have people like that. And that's why
they have started these sanctions against Russia. But it remains to be seen how effective these sanctions are going to be in deterring Putin.
Sanctions will work against Russia, but not against Putin. It's
an important distinction that you make, and we don't have the time to look into it.
Yes,
Putin and Russia.
You understand? Sanctions,
because for now, the U.S. especially is not focusing on Putin.
Yeah, so sanctions will work against Russia, but we need to differentiate Russia from Putin, even though at a point the two will match. But then we need to understand that at the end of the day, in the long run, sanctions will work against Russia in the long run. But in the short term, you understand, so much damage will have been done.
Okay, I guess we're going to have to leave it here, because we wanted to find out what was going to be happening to our nationals, our young men and young women, or citizens that happen to be in that axis. And there we have it. As soon as it is possible, provided those nationals of ours do the right thing and register, so they know where they can be found. So it's like we're appealing.
The only appeal too that we can make to our government now is that proactiveness is needed, in a situation like this. Yes, we know. They have said that people should be registering. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, please let us be ready.
Of course.
Let it not be that when the opportunity comes, we are now still, scampering here and there, for what to do.
Okay.
Let us be ready such that whenever the opportunity presents itself for us to evacuate our nationals, we do that immediately.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Ademola Adegoke, Communications Consultant.
Thank you.
And also thanks to Abike Dabiri Erewa, Chair of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, who had, joined us at the top of the program. In fact, she says the reason why she couldn't spend more time with us is that the meeting she was attended was actually connected with this subject matter. So that goes back to the point that you are making.
Yeah. Proactiveness.
All hands are on desk to be proactive about this whole matter.